Hi guys. I'm gonna do a lecture on the 7 principles of economics. So let's get started with the essential question. The essential question is, what is economics and how can we think like an economist? Economics. First of all, I want you guys to write down anything that's in green print. Um, let's go ahead and get started now with that being said. Economics. What is economics? Well, it's all about choices. Resources are limited, so economists study how people choose to fulfill their unlimited wants and needs using these limited resources. What's the difference between micro and macroeconomics? Micro is how individuals, businesses, and households make decisions. Macro is how the entire economy functions. So if you guys want to think about it differently, think micro is small, macro is big. Micro is going to be more small, like micro is more like Reedley, macro is going to be more like LA. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the principles. Principle number one, scarcity forces trade-offs. What is scarcity and trade-offs? Scarcity is all resources are limited. Trade-offs is what you give up every time you make a choice, usually a list of options that you have to give up. How does scarcity force trade-offs? Well, since all resources are scarce, people and societies must make choices that force them to make trade-offs. An example is somebody saying there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. Well, that is very true, but this principle is that everything requires some sort of trade-off. Principle number two, costs versus benefits. What are costs and benefits? Costs, what you spend, what you spend when you make a choice. Time, money, resources, really anything can be a cost. Benefits is what you gain when you make a choice. Time, money, resources. Again, kind of like costs, really anything can be a part of that benefit list. What is cost versus benefits principle? When people make choices, it's always because they think either consciously or subconsciously that the benefits will outlay the costs. Um, what is a cost benefit analysis? Well, listing out the costs and the benefits of a decision and then making a choice. All right, guys. So I want you guys to go ahead and stop this and go ahead, pause the video and go ahead and do activity number 4, please. Principle number 3, thinking at a margin. What is a margin? Well, the margin of a paper would be the outside edge or border of it. So let's go with marginal benefit though. What a marginal benefit is what you gain by adding one more unit of something. An example would be time. Just like marginal benefit, there's also marginal cost. Marginal cost is what you lose by adding one more unit of something. And that can also be time, that could be money, it could be all kinds of different things. What is thinking at the margin? Considering that the margin, cost, and benefit involved in making a decision. An example would be considering the marginal cost and benefit of consuming one more boba. Principle number 4, incentives matter. Let's say your parents offered you $50 per A that you get in a class. I would assume that every one of you guys would be working as hard as you can to get all A's. Well, that's what an incentive is. Incentives make people act in a certain way, and it's almost predictable. Um, Incentives are used to motivate people because whether we realize it or not, our behavior is chose based off of incentives. If we think we could get something out of it, we're gonna do whatever we can. Um, Again, I would like you guys to pause it right here and go ahead and go do activity number 6, please. Principle number 5. Trade makes people better off. What is trade? Well, trade is a voluntary exchange of goods. An example would be you trade 10 cents for a pencil. How does trade make people better off? Well, we trade because it's inefficient for us to make everything that we need. So an example would be somebody specializing in making pencil pouches, while somebody else specializes in making the pencils themselves. You trade with each other for what you guys need, so that way everybody is better off. Trade allows certain people or countries to specialize and then trade for what they need or want. Principle number 6: markets facilitate trade. What is a market? Well, a market is a space where buyers or sellers trade or do business. How do markets facilitate trade? In a marketplace with limited government intervention, buyers and sellers are free to conduct trade. In this type of marketplace, the buying and selling of goods, services is naturally efficient. Adam Smith described the efficiency of free trade, free markets as the invisible hand guiding buyers and sellers. And finally, we get to principle number 7: future consequences matter. Why do future consequences matter? When we make decisions, the effects of consequences are far-reaching. We might not know what the consequences of us making that decision are going to be, but we make it most likely anyways. A choice we make today may impact us or other people in the long run. So every choice has a consequence. We all know that already. So, but that's no different in economics as well.